Flat Earth Dave, who runs the Dearth YouTube channel, recently said that my pastor is a fake pastor.
Who is Will Duffy, right? Will Duffy is a pastor that popped up, started doing sermons a few years ago in a little crappy church, and he records all of his Sunday services or whatever day of the week. I think he does them on Sunday. And if you watch all the videos, only a very few of them do they show any people, and all of them he's not reacting to anybody. He's not looking like he's talking to people. It seems like he's in a church by himself or with very, very few people. So I believe, this is my belief, that they set up Will Duffy years ago. Hey, do all these sermons, post them on YouTube, have a history record. This was a remote hoax where you have no witnesses.
Well, let's find out together. And needless to say, later on in this video, we're going to refute and debunk every awful thing that he said. See, a little over a year ago, I got a call from my pastor, Will Duffy, asking me to join him in Nashville, Tennessee to watch a debate between two pastors, Pastor Greg Locke and Pastor Dean Odell. But they weren't going to debate religion, theology, philosophy, or politics, or anything that you would expect two pastors to debate. Of all things, they were going to debate the shape of the earth. You know, that thing that humanity collectively as a species figured out before the birth of Jesus Christ. Yeah, they were debating that. And please remember that name, Pastor Dean Odell. He'll come up later. So Will's request was very odd, very out of the blue, to fly out to Tennessee and watch a debate on the flat earth, which I didn't really know was a thing aside from memes online. But I know Will and I trust him, and I know that he has a tendency to do very big and very epic things. So I agreed, not really knowing what I was getting myself into. On my flight in, Will suggested I watch a video by Flat Earth Dave, and that was the first time I heard genuine arguments for a flat earth. When I arrived, I asked Will what this was all about, and so he told me that he's spent the past year digging into the flat earth debate. When I heard that, my first thought was, Will, you have wasted a year of your life on this. Who cares? But then he showed me just how big of a deal flat earth was. I thought nobody cared, but I was completely wrong. So we're in Tennessee, and Will tells me he has this plan to put the flat earth debate to bed. But two questions popped up in my mind instantly. Number one, why? Who cares about this? Who cares whether or not some people think the earth is flat or not? They're just dumb conspiracy theorists. They've always been around and they always will be around, to which Will pointed something out to me that shook me to my core. And that is that flat earthers consistently use the Bible to argue that the earth is flat. And they say the Bible is a flat earth book. And me, oh my, let's just say that bothers me. That bothers me a lot. The Bible is the holy word of God, and to see flat earthers drag its name through the mud by claiming it teaches something as absurd as flat earth, yeah, that bothers me. Christians should be all about removing stumbling blocks between unbelievers and Jesus Christ, but saying that the Bible is a flat earth book adds a massive stumbling block between the entire world and their savior. But then my second question for Will was, hey, you said you had this plan to end the flat earth debate. What's your plan? So he told me about a plan that he had that, aside from his wife and two others, he had not told a soul about. It's what he was calling the final experiment. Now, at the time, I had no idea this would make headlines around the world and be such a huge deal and attract the attention of millions. He told me there's tremendous disagreement between flat earthers and globers, and that they don't agree on basically anything. They don't agree on gravity, on space, on the stars, on the moon, on the sun. There's no common ground except for one thing, only one thing that globers and flat earthers alike agree on. If you don't already know, flat earthers teach that we live on a giant disk and all of our continents and seas are contained by a massive ice wall that surrounds us. That ice wall is itself Antarctica. Then rather than the globe rotating and bringing the sun into view, day and night is caused by the sun and moon rotating overhead. All of this is then enclosed within a dome structure that covers everything. And then because there's such a fundamental difference on worldview, literally their view of the world, there's disagreement on just about everything. But there is one thing, just one thing that all flat earthers and all globers agree on, and that's that there can be no 24-hour sun in Antarctica. If you're not familiar, the globe model shows that once a year during the southern summer, Antarctica will experience a 24-hour sun. Makes sense, right? If this is the sun and this is the globe and it's rotating, no matter how much it rotates, Antarctica can still see the sun. Now in this flat earth model, of course, a 24-hour sun cannot work on the Antarctic ice wall because no matter where you stand over the course of 24 hours, you will see darkness. Flat Earth Dave himself has admitted this.
The 24-hour sun in Antarctica doesn't work on a flat Earth. On a flat Earth, you can't have a 24-hour sun, a midnight sun in Antarctica. And I totally agree.
So that's one thing that both sides agree on. A 24-hour sun does not work for the flat earthers. And it's not just Flat Earth Dave saying that, it's all the big name flat earthers.
Let's say we are trying to prove the globe or trying to prove it's flat. Should be very, very easy, right? I mean, on a globe, we would have a 24-hour sun in the southern summer. That means that the sun would circle the continent.
In order to fit the heliocentric globe model, this midnight sun phenomenon must also occur for observers south of the Antarctic Circle during winter solstice. Depending how far south the observer is, the sun should be seen for several days or weeks, never fully setting, just like it does in the north.
In the one model, the heliocentric model, it would necessitate having a 24-hour sun in the south.
Honestly, if you want to know for sure if the Earth is spherical or not, go to Antarctica during the summer and see if you can watch the sun for 24 hours. You can't.
You mentioned the sun, right? Like the idea is, yeah, if you see the sun in the sky for 24 hours, that's what the globe predicts. And how would the flat Earth explain that? But that's not what happened.
Say that right here. I've got a friend who's in Antarctica right now, and she said there's no 24-hour sun. It rises and sets. If you don't have 24-hour sun in their summertime, if it's not doing a 360 degrees around it like it does the north, then it's not about that. Simple.
Yeah, so I used to run the largest flat earth group in the world, but for 6 years I asked all the Globers, just show me the 24-hour sun in Antarctica, and they couldn't do it. And then the group got deleted and we got censored.
The midnight sun being seen only in the northern regions is evidence against the globular theory. If the world were a globe, the midnight sun would be seen in the southern regions in December as it is seen in the northern in June. There is, in fact, never 24-hour sunlight anywhere in Antarctica, because even when the sun reaches its outermost circuit over the Tropic of Capricorn, the entirety of the Antarctic circumference cannot be reached by its light at any one time, and so it will still set every day.
But of course, there have been time-lapse videos of the 24-hour sun in Antarctica. When these have been presented to flat earthers, they get mad and they scream that this is all edited footage.
So you have quote unquote testimony with no video evidence. We have testimony.
Oh,
I
have video evidence.
No, you don't. You've got edited film. You do not have a 24-hour video evidence of the Antarctic summer sun circling above someone's head for 24 hours. The body of the sun.
I'm going to make you a liar, Sean. All right, there you go.
Okay. So who's Robert Schwartz?
Robert Schwartz. Schwartz spent time at the South Pole. This is
How do you know Robert Schwartz?
How do you know the guys in the video that you did? You don't know them either. So
no, I don't. But
we're at the same.
They actually have a timestamp. They have dates. They have coordinates. You have a random video that's moving in circles where I can already see cuts in the clouds because it's moving at high speed. So I'm just saying to you,
standard flat Earth denial.
How do you know Robert Schwartz?
Gotta lie to Flurf.
Okay, so if you're going to be disingenuous with my critique,
a liar.
Why should I take your evidence?
You are a liar.
If you're curious how that interview ended, the flat earther said, "That's a time lapse, not a video," and then kicked MC Toon off the channel. As if a time-lapse video isn't a video, and as if just because it's a time-lapse that somehow means it didn't happen. I took this sunrise time-lapse on top of a mountain over Denver with my GoPro. Did the sun not actually come up? Did it not rise because I took a time-lapse of it? Regardless, flat earthers will always deny evidence for a 24-hour sun for one reason or another. So my pastor, Will Duffy, told me his plan. He said, I want to pay for globers and flat earthers alike to join together and fly down to Antarctica and see the 24-hour sun for themselves. If they won't believe in video evidence of the 24-hour sun, maybe we can fly them down there and they can see it with their own two eyes. If they won't believe in video evidence, maybe they'll believe in some other prominent flat earthers. And because we were attending this flat earth debate, there were going to be tons of big name flat earthers there. The plan was to go and after the debate, bring this up to these big name flat earthers. My only job in being there was to film Will talking to these flat earthers. That was my only job. That was all I was supposed to do. But things didn't go according to plan. See, halfway through the debate, the flat earthers in the audience started yelling and screaming in anger because they were getting a little bit heated. Now, Will and I were close to front and center at this debate. Here was our view of the stage. In fact, we appeared briefly in Wits It Gets It's live stream of the debate. And how it ended, I can't even describe it to you, so let me just show you. After 4 hours of heated debate of people in the audience yelling and screaming, this happened.
Hello? Is it sunrise or not?
Not at all. I don't agree with you.
Turn his mic off. Get out.
Wow.
You're a Bible denier. You're a Bible denier. You're a Bible denier.
Greg Locke kicks Dean Odell out, prompting Dean to throw his microphone in anger at Greg Locke. And you can't see the crowd in this, but let me assure you, they were freaking out. They were screaming, yelling, running around. It was chaos. Now, unfortunately, that flushed our plan down the drain with so much chaos going on. We couldn't really find a good time to talk to these big name flat earthers. But in the debate, something golden happened. Something incredible happened right in the middle of that debate.
And here's another thing. If, this would be easy to prove, but they hide this from us too. All we'd have to prove is go to Antarctica. Let me and you go to Antarctica, spend a week there in the summer, and let's see if the sun does a 360-degree circle all the way around us. If so, it's a ball.
This was the biggest drama in the flat earth debate, and right in the middle of it, Dean Odell doubled down that there is no 24-hour sun, and that if there is, the earth is a ball.
If so, it's a ball.
So we weren't really able to discuss this with any of the flat earthers there, but the 24-hour sun was in the spotlight. Will took action here and launched a video campaign laying out his plan. He invited 24 flat earthers and 24 globe earthers to join the final experiment, and that he was going to pay for one person from each side to join him in Antarctica. That's a huge offer. A trip to Antarctica can cost up to $40,000. So Will, who I've known to be very generous, he very generously offered to pay this trip for one flat earther and one globe earther. And rather than me explaining, let's rewind to May of 2024 and let my pastor, Will Duffy, from the Final Experiment YouTube channel, do the talking.
So the first thing we did is we created this poll here on YouTube to see who people wanted to represent the flat earth side in Antarctica for the final experiment. Now, there's been a little confusion. My original plan was to run that poll for 48 hours. And when the 48 hours ended, there was no way to end the poll on YouTube without actually deleting it, and then nobody could see the results. And I'm sure I'd get accused of all kinds of crazy things, so I left the poll up. But at that 48-hour mark, I emailed Dave Weiss, let him know he won. He won with a pretty significant margin, as you can see, and asked him if he was willing to go to Antarctica. The next thing I did, out of curiosity, because this is an experiment and I like to see where people are at, is we created this poll on YouTube and this one on X, asking people if they thought Dave Weiss would accept a free trip to Antarctica. And as you can see, the results were very similar to each other, but also surprising. So we got almost 1,000 votes combined between YouTube and X. And a major 91% of people on YouTube and 92% of people on X believed that Dave Weiss would not accept a free trip to Antarctica. So, not to hold out any longer, Dave Weiss and I have been in communication, and he has said no. He's unwilling to go to Antarctica. So, whatever you guys all knew, all of you who voted and said no, you were right. Now, there's probably going to be speculation as to why he said no, and I want to kind of stay away from all of that. So I'm just going to tell you and show you here on the screen his exact words to me as to why he's unwilling to go to Antarctica. Here's what he said. Here's his original email. And he said this: as I said before, I want nothing to do with you whatsoever. He's talking to me. I don't trust you at all. The people you hang with are demons and liars, in my opinion. There's his answer.
So Flat Earth Dave rejected this very generous offer and accused Will and his friends of being demons and liars. Will said he wasn't going to speculate on why Flat Earth Dave rejected this trip because he's very generous and charitable in his interpretation of others. I saw this and I didn't have that same charity. I started to realize here that flat earthers, they aren't in it for the truth. Flat Earth Dave, he doesn't actually believe that the earth is flat. He knows it's a globe, but he's lying to make money, right? Flat Earth Dave, he sells his app for $3 a pop.
I'm a scammer.
Now, Flat Earth Dave, he knew that he couldn't go and publicly witness the 24-hour sun because if he did, then he couldn't peddle his Flat Earth lie any longer. I started to realize that Flat Earth Dave was merely a con man, a scammer trying to protect his grift.
I'm a scammer.
He claimed there's no 24-hour sun, but he must not have believed that. Otherwise, he would have accepted a free, all expenses paid trip to Antarctica. For now, because Flat Earth Dave was afraid and he rejected this trip, Will needed someone else to join. In comes Flat Earther Jaren of the Jarenism YouTube channel with a staggering 164,000 subscribers. He was the next most popular choice for a Flat Earther to join TFE. Now, there was a lot of drama trying to get Jaren to join. He put out some videos that were very rude against Will, saying that he was afraid of, he was going to go and he was going to expose there was no 24-hour sun and the Illuminati, the government, whoever the powers that would be, they would kill him because they didn't want him to expose the globe lie. Now, Jaren of the Jarenism channel has since had a change of heart, and he has taken down these really kind of rotten videos against Will, which I applaud him for. That's a really cool thing. But just so you can get an idea of how difficult it was to get a flat earther to go, here's Will from back in June of 2024 explaining the challenges involved with getting a flat earther to join them.
So Jaren has agreed to go to Antarctica in December for the final experiment with a new condition, which is he does not want to go alone. Now, I know a lot of people are giving him a hard time for this. I think it's fine, and I think it's totally okay, and I think it's reasonable, and I think it's possible if a lot of us were in his shoes, we would probably feel the same way and ask for the same thing. So Jaren has asked for another flat earther to go. And so what I did is I essentially gave up my spot.
Pause. Will ended up deciding he could pay for both them and himself. In the end, he didn't need to give up his spot.
In order to pay for a second flat earther to go to Antarctica with the final experiment. Now, with the polling that we did, you know, Flat Earth Dave originally won, but he didn't want to accept the free trip. So then we moved on to Jaren. But Austin also was arguably right up there with Jaren in terms of polling after, you know, David Weiss. So Austin, let's go ahead and switch now to Austin. Jaren is okay going with Austin. Jaren let me know that Austin would be willing to go. Keep in mind that Austin was already planning a trip to Antarctica this December, so it's kind of perfect. I doubt his trip was going to be paid for, and so this should be exciting for him, and he can still go, which he was planning on it, but he can go with having all of his expenses paid by me.
Now, it was crucial to get flat earthers to go. If only globers went, then the flat earthers would complain, this is all fake, we can't trust globers. So the flat earthers, they were throwing up as many roadblocks as they could. Oh, I want a friend to go. Oh, I want you to pay for my clothing. Oh, I want you to cover my lost wages. Oh, I want you to pay for my mom to fly down and watch my kid while I'm in Antarctica taking up your offer of a free trip. You know, oh, I want a legal contract detailing everything, right? Bear in mind, these are flat earthers who for decades have been saying that they want to go to Antarctica desperately to disprove the globe. But there they were, putting up so many roadblocks, asking for so many unreasonable things. Why? Well, because they didn't actually want to go. They realized that if they went, their grift would be done. So they asked for so many unreasonable things that Will obviously had no obligation to provide. That way, when Will didn't provide them, they could say, oh, look, he wasn't even willing to provide it anyways. He didn't even want us to go. And so they asked for all these unreasonable roadblocks, but with every one of them, Will came through. They were about setting up roadblocks, and Will was about tearing those roadblocks back down. And after all their unreasonable requests, we finally got this announcement from Will.
I am very excited to announce that Austin and Jaron will both be going to Antarctica with the final experiment this December.
For anyone who had been following along, this was great news. Getting a flat earther to go was extremely difficult, and so we were all thrilled. For the record, there was only one Glober offered the trip, and he accepted that offer instantly with zero hesitation. That was professional photographer and YouTuber Dave McKeegan.
If you're a regular viewer of my channel, you may have already heard the rather exciting news that I posted a few weeks back. In December, I will be heading all the way to Antarctica to take part in what is being dubbed the final experiment.
In addition to this, many Globers decided to crowdfund their way or self-fund their way to Antarctica to be part of the final experiment in Antarctica. Not a single flat earther crowdfunded or self-funded their way there. It's fascinating that the globe side of this debate put so much effort into looking at the evidence and seeing the evidence, but the flat earthers were dragging their heels the entire way. When offered free trips to Antarctica, here's how most big name flat earthers responded. Mark Sargent.
I want to talk about the Will Duffy thing, which is, and I'm not going to say the name. I'm not even going to justify it by saying the name because it's not a final anything. Yes, I will say this. I did not watch the video. I don't have to. Yes, I was, because he sent me a text. I'm not going to read it. I was invited to the to do the Antarctic experiment down with Jaron and Whitsitt. Flat earthers and globalists, and I'm sorry, and round earthers, right? Flat earthers and round earthers don't mix. They never have. And that trip, would I go with an all flat earth cast? Sure. But having trolls, dedicated round earth trolls, for an extended trip like this, that's a nightmare.
Dean Odell.
I just had to ask this. Are you going to take them up on the Antarctica trip? You got to do it.
I would love to go to Antarctica, but I am not going with Greg. He can afford to go. He does not understand anyway the legalities and it's not going to happen. I mean, I would love to go. In fact, I said a few weeks ago, I would love to go for a week in the summer and let's check on how that sun moves because they keep hiding that from us.
Nathan Oakley.
Nathan's refusal was a real refusal, as both he and I believed the offer was genuine. Now, had we figured that out, that it wasn't genuine before he said no, and he communicated with me that he really wanted to go, we would have done the same thing that we did with Lisbeth, and we would have set up a GoFundMe for him. But as you all now know, he thinks TFE is a fraud. He thinks I'm a fraud, and he doesn't want to go with us because then he would be participating in fraud. Your loss, Nathan, your loss.
Flat Earth Dave.
And he said this, as I said before, I want nothing to do with you whatsoever. He's talking to me. I don't trust you at all. The people you hang with are demons and liars, in my opinion.
Eric Dubé.
Are you going to Antarctica with us? Someone has offered to pay for you. That, of course, was Mark Harmon. And Eric responded to me. He said, I already know the Earth is flat, Will, and so do you. Wow, this guy apparently knows me better than I know myself. We've never met, so that's a bit strange, but since I apparently know the Earth is flat, here is what I said in response. Let's go to Antarctica together and end the globe. Now, this is something people keep forgetting. TFE has created the single greatest opportunity in flat Earth history. If the Earth is flat, we can end the globe by showing a setting sun in Antarctica where there is supposed to be a 24-hour sun. So how did Eric respond to me? He said, you can't even hide that sarcasm through text. Man, how does this guy, who I've never met, know me better than I know myself? So I told him the truth. I'm in this for the truth, wherever that may lead. You in? And that is the truth. I've said many times that I will become a flat earther if there's not a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. I'm hoping Eric feels the same way, that he is in search of the truth wherever that may lead. Well, let's see his response. He said, try watching the video you're commenting on and see where that truth leads. Well, that's not a helpful response because the video has nothing to do with the final experiment or Antarctica or the 24-hour sun. So I asked him one more time. In response to watching his video, I said, I will, but I need to get back to your generous donor. Again, Mark Harmon. Should I tell him you're not interested in him paying for you to go to Antarctica? And sadly, Eric stopped replying. It seems Eric is not that interested in going to Antarctica with us.
By the way, Eric Dubé, he's the same guy who said this.
Well, why can't I? It's similar to like Antarctica, but why can't I go see for myself? Why are you just telling me, oh, it's a globe, it's a little continent on the bottom, you don't fall off because of gravity, you're good, don't bother going there. Well, why can't I go and see? I want to go there and check it out for myself, and then I'll decide. Can't we do that?
With that, you see just how hard it was to get a flat earther to go. Why? Well, because they know that flat Earth is a scam, and they know if they publicly see the 24-hour sun, they won't be able to continue their grift. So you can just imagine the excitement when Jaron and Austin finally agreed to go. At this point, he was making the rounds on very popular YouTube channels and even making it into the news.
A few years ago, a pastor in Colorado named Will Duffy came up with a project called The Final Experiment, which is a, pretty bold name for an experiment.
Then after a year of preparation, things were finally set to go. In the end, 9 folks ended up flying down to Antarctica to see whether or not the sun would set. When they arrived and touched down on the blue ice runway and had recognized that the sun had not set and was not going to set, they launched this live stream titled It's Midnight in Antarctica.
Welcome to Antarctica. So great to see everybody. Super excited that we're live streaming from Antarctica, but more importantly, it is midnight where we are at, right outside of Union Glacier. And so the question is, obviously everyone can see that it is super bright behind me. So the question is the sun still up at midnight? So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera around. And oops. And there you go, everyone. It's there's the sun in all of its glory right there over the Ellsworth Mountains.
Then what was the most incredible was Will had all the participants come on screen and say a few words. I can't share the entire live stream, obviously, but I have to play a few words from the flat earther Jaronism. What he said was truly remarkable.
So obviously you all know Jaron Campanella of Jaronism, one of the most popular flat earth YouTube channels.
Not for long. All right, guys. Sometimes you are wrong in life. And I thought that there was no 24-hour sun. In fact, I was pretty sure of it. But I respect Will Duffy for being a stand-up guy, at least in the way that he kept saying it was true. I kept saying it wasn't. He said, "You want to go? I'll take you," and brought me here. And it's a fact. The sun does circle you in the south. So what does that mean? You guys are gonna have to figure that out yourself. Don't listen to my beliefs or my opinion. It shouldn't matter to you. But at least you should be able to accept that the sun does exactly what these guys said as far as circles the southern continent. So that's about it. I realize that I'll be called a shill for just saying that. And you know what? If you're a shill for being honest, so be it. I honestly believe there was no 24-hour sun. I honestly now believe there is. That's it. If you want to call me a shill, so be it. I'll live to see another day, and at least I know that I got to see it. And I just want to say thanks to Will through everything. You've been at least kind to me, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate the trip. If you guys want to, my whole master plan worked for getting a free trip out here and to, but no, it's amazing. I can't even tell you. Flying in was the best thing I've ever seen. So looking around, best thing I've ever seen. So, you know, how could I give him a hard time for bringing me down here? $35,000 trip. It's been incredible. It will continue to be incredible. We've got some tracking mounts swinging around, seeing the sun. What does it mean? You have to figure it out. You know, to me, it means that the AE map no longer works, but that doesn't mean that I'm right. It means that it could work. You'll have to figure out how, because I've tried and I struggle with it. The other thing is a 24-hour moon. If that happens, you got another thing we got to worry about. So it seems like the moon does circle here as well. So you start thinking about that as well. It doesn't mean that AE map is over, flat earth is over. Maybe somebody's got the answer. I don't have that answer right now. So just want to say thanks again. Appreciate it.
Thanks, brother.
After dealing with the insanity of flat earth for over a year, Jaronism's humility was a breath of fresh air. A few weeks after the trip, Jaronism officially left the flat earth.
I no longer will consider myself a flat earther because of the group that associates you with, number one. And number two, I can no longer hold that opinion considering I showed myself evidence that it's not possible.
So what does this mean for the flat earth? How can this continue? Well, as Jaron said, he was going to be called a shill. Turns out that Jaronism is a prophet with exhaustive foreknowledge of the future because exactly that happened. Both Jaronism and Austin, who's still a flat earther, have been eaten alive by their communities for verifying the existence of a 24-hour sun. Here's Flat Earth Dave, who was previously good friends with Jaron and Austin, turning on them because they were unwilling to lie and protect his grift.
He's a pawn, and Austin was a pawn.
The ways in which flat earthers have responded has been nothing short of amazing. They've all turned on themselves and eaten themselves alive because they've divided into different fractions of how to explain the final experiment. Some say they were in front of a green screen. Others say, oh, it was CGI. Others say the footage doesn't show their footprints. Others say, oh, the shadows, they moved in a way that I don't understand. Others say they were inside the massive Vegas dome where the walls of the dome were LED light panels and it was just an image of the sun. So they all say it was fake, or some even will say, oh, this actually does work on a flat earth. They have all these crazy theories about how it can work on a flat earth. All of them are insane, however, but there is one that just takes the cake. There's one of these which is just the best theory. Out of all the crazy theories, one of these theories is the best crazy theory. Remember that guy I said to keep in mind earlier, Dean Odell? Pastor Dean Odell? Well, how did he handle this?
And we were warned that there were going to be false signs, satanic signs and wonders. Guess what? In the heavens. So here's what I say. I'm not going to even debate the shadows going in different directions, like McToon wants to debate all this stuff. I'm not even going to debate camera angles and no footprints in the snow where they were walking and all these weird anomalies. I'm not even going to say, I'm just going to say they went and they saw a light go around them in a circle that they thought was the sun, or that they knew, because they're Satanists, some of them, that Satan would be there to help them. Because listen, folks, Satan has a lot invested in this deception. He has spent hundreds of years crafting this deception about changing the nature of creation so that people won't believe the Bible. He built NASA to help you out with this one. Think about that. And made sure that NASA gets $60 million a day to continue to push the lies. Satan has a lot invested in this. You don't think he would go, okay, boys, y'all head on down there to Antarctica. I'll be there on this day. I'll clear the weather up for you. And I'll be the angelic light in the sky.
Yes, you heard him correctly. Satan became a big ball of fire, went down to Antarctica, and spun in a circle above their heads to convince them the earth is a globe. Dean Odell is a liar. Dean Odell is a cult leader. Dean Odell is a wicked, wicked man who should repent of deceiving his flock. It's interesting because where they were right outside of Union Glacier typically has awful weather year-round, but during the final experiment trip, the weather was perfect for this. As a Christian, it makes you think, hey, maybe God was involved in this. Ironically, Dean Odell said that there's only two forces strong enough to change the weather: NASA and Satan. And I don't know why he forgot God in that list, but he insinuated that Satan was the one who was doing this, who was spending all of this effort on making the sun appear in Antarctica. What's so interesting about that is if Dean Odell is a Christian who thinks Satan is taking all of his time, energy, and effort to hide the globe and go to Antarctica and circle them to convince people that there's a 24-hour sun. Dean Odell, if you believe that, and you're a Christian pastor, and you think that's such a valuable thing for Satan to do, you should have people in Antarctica every single southern summer with time-lapse videos filming the sun. That way you can distract Satan so he's not off doing other horrible, terrible stuff. If you really think he's that committed to keeping the globe a secret, hey, then you can tie up Satan. You can do such an incredible thing for the entire world by just going to Antarctica every southern summer and staying there and filming the sun. That way he has to, go there. But you're not going to do that, right? Because you don't care. You don't think that's true. You're lying to your flock. You are a deceiver. You are a cult leader. By the way, I call him a cult leader. That's not unfounded. There are certain hallmarks of a cult. I've made dozens of videos on my channels about cults, and I've gotten hundreds of thousands of views of them. I've spent a lot of time researching cults, and Flat Earth is definitely a cult. One of the hallmarks of a cult is it's a religion where you're not allowed to question anything. Otherwise, you'll be shunned and excommunicated from your communities. Disagreement is not tolerated in the Flat Earth cult. Contradictory information is banned and rejected, as we saw earlier with that time-lapse video. Flat Earthers, they will do everything in their power to shield their audiences from being exposed to the truth, just like Dean Odell. For example, on this very video where Dean Odell says Satan became the sun to trick them, I commented on that video, I commented a quote. I said, quote, this would be easy to prove, but they hide this from us too. All we'd have to do is to go down to Antarctica, let me and you go to Antarctica, spend a week there in the summer, and let's see if the sun does a 360-degree circle all the way around us. If so, it's a ball. Dean Odell, December 2nd, 2023. And what happened? Well, Dean Odell muted me on his channel so no one else can see my comments. He's a liar. he's a cult leader, and Flat Earth is a cult. And we're seeing in real time this cult falling to pieces. It's the end of a grift, the end of a scam. Now, speaking of scams and scammers, at the start of this video, I mentioned David Weiss, aka Flat Earth Dave, and he is the biggest scammer of them all. Let's take the time now to take his statements and thoroughly go through and debunk every awful thing that he's said.
Who is Will Duffy, right? Will Duffy is a pastor that popped up, started doing sermons a few years ago in a little crappy church. He's a multimillionaire, supposedly. He's got a crappy little church.
So he's arguing that our church isn't a real church because he was trying to discredit Will and discredit the final experiment. He calls it a crappy little church, which I take personal offense to. This is the church around which my life is centered, right? It's where I got married. It's where I go to church. But Flat Earth Dave, he says it's a crappy little church. By the way, Flat Earth Dave, he claims to be a Christian promoting Flat Earth to lead people to God. This isn't leading anyone to God. Dave Weiss, you're not leading anyone to God. You're a liar. You're a con man. You're a scammer. You're a grifter. And above all, you're a jerk.
And he records all of his Sunday services, or whatever day of the week. I think he does them on Sunday. And if you watch all the videos, only a very few of them do they show any people, and all of them he's not reacting to anybody. He's not looking like he's talking to people. It seems like he's in a church by himself or with very, very few people. And so if you're going to do an operation like this, you need to set up the characters. So I believe, this is my belief, that they set up Will Duffy years ago.
So because you rarely see people in the sermon footage, therefore what, it's a fake church? No, this is so aggravating for two different reasons. One is that it's absurd, but two, that we've put so much effort into making it so in our videos of the sermons, you can't see the members of the congregation. And why? Why is that? Well, because lunatics like you, Flat Earth Dave, lunatics like you will take them and rake their names through the mud by accusing them of being shills set up by NASA or the Illuminati or, you know, Freemasons or whatever you think it is, the government or whatever insanity you spew out. So we put a lot of effort into making it so people aren't seen in the sermons. So we have the sanctuary, which has the stage up front with a center aisle for people to walk in and find their seats. And then we have this camera here, which that's what records the sermons. If you zoom in, you know, that's about the view that you would get from the camera. And that's positioned in the back of the sanctuary. And then this middle aisle, to make sure that people aren't seen, we have these. You see these at like airports or theaters or stuff like that. And then that just hooks in right on the back of there. That way people know, don't go down the middle aisle if their kids are crying during the sermon or something. They get up and they go around the edges to, you know, get out and take care of their kids or whatever it might be. That way they're not seen by the camera, which is here, but it's just really zoomed in.
Like they sent families to that Sandy, that new town in Connecticut. They put them there. They put them, oh, you're a doctor in the hospital, and you're a school teacher, and you're this, and you're that. And they set them up for their roles. So when you research them, they have a history. So this is easy so far. This doesn't even compare to what they've done. This was a remote hoax where you have no witnesses. Right?
Now here he's saying because Sandy Hook was fake and the victims were actors that were set up, the final experiment is the same thing. Will was set up. He's a fake pastor and there's no witnesses, which A, Sandy Hook victims should sue the ever-loving daylights out of this guy, but B, he has no evidence of this. He's never shown up on a Sunday morning and joined us for Bible study, right? Sat in on a sermon. He's never done any of that, but he's just lying. Because that's all he knows how to do, is just lie. So, no witnesses? Well, Flat Earth Dave, how about these witnesses? Excuse me, who are you?
Oh, hi, I'm a fake pastor. This is a fake church. It's actually a big green screen.
Oh, the
all
green
of these
screen.
Are NPCs, so just ignore them.
Oh, I see.
Thank
Okay,
you.
fake church. Confirmed. Who are you guys?
Hello, we're the ladies who take down the Christmas tree.
How long have you been coming here?
For about a year.
How about you?
A long, long time.
Long time, okay. Who are you?
I'm Scott Shamblin. I've never heard of Agape Kingdom Fellowship in my life, but I've been coming here for 3 years. I run the soundboard.
Is this church a real church?
Definitely not. I'm not sitting here right now.
Oh, Dave, you're right. Oh.
I'm London, and I've been going to AKF for like 2 years now.
Is it real or is it a green screen?
It's real.
Is it fake? Are you lying?
No.
You lied.
My name is Donna Valentine, and I've been coming to AKF for 3 years, and I love it here.
Hi, I'm Larry. I've been coming here to Agape for 3 years plus, and yes, this is a real church. There's people out here. God bless.
All right, who are you?
Hi, I'm Danielle Duffy, the infamous Will Duffy's real wife.
Illuminati.
The Freemason.
Freemason.
No, we actually just paid a company to make us a logo, and we all liked how it looked. So they may be Freemasons, but we'll see. But yeah, I guess I've been coming to AKF from years.
Oops, stop, keep going.
3 years? I'm guessing. I don't know. Somebody else could tell me better how long we've been here, but forever.
Great. And this is my wife, Kate, who is camera shy, but she does exist.
Oh, she's not even real.
Oh, that's sad.
I am Cheryl Anyar, and I have been coming to AKF from its inception. In fact, on my Instagram page, I knew you were going to ask this question. Here is when I posted our first Sunday. It's dated November 28th, 2021.
Turns out it is a real church, and we even have a sign. How cool is that? But I guess they're all just shills.
But here's Agape Kingdom, right? What does this look like? All right, I'm, hey, to me, it looks like the Freemason symbol. You flip it over, it looks like Baphomet. That's just weird, okay? We'll just say that's a coincidence.
No, we got this logo from, Fiverr? And it's the letter A because we preach about agape love for God. And because we're Agape Kingdom, it's meant to look like a little city, a little kingdom with a steeple pointing up to God. Because we're a church, that's what churches do. They point people towards God.
It looks like the Freemason symbol. You flip it over, it looks like Baphomet. That's just weird.
Why would it be upside down? Why would it be upside down? You think that we're with Satan, we're in league with Satan, and we're just leaving little breadcrumbs like, maybe if they turn it upside down, then they'll realize. No, of course, that's not how we act. Of course, people don't make logos that way. That's absurd. You go to Fiverr and commission someone $20 to make a logo. Now, of course, and this is the bigger point, Flat Earth Dave, he doesn't believe any of this. He doesn't believe we're with the Illuminati or the Freemasons or that it's a fake church or anything like that. Rather, he's just dragging our church's name through the mud because our pastor has destroyed his grift. Flat Earth Dave, he'll have a much harder time scamming mentally ill people out of their money, right? Because our pastor has put an end to his grift. And Pastor Will Duffy for this deserves a very big, very long round of applause. Pastor Will Duffy, thank you for the final experiments. Thank you for rescuing people from this flat earth cult. And thank you for just putting an end to this madness. Now, why am I even talking about this, right? I'm a theology channel, and this has absolutely nothing to do with theology. And two main reasons. Number one is that I'm seeing my pastor and my church's name being dragged through the mud, and I want to defend the things which I love. But number two, I absolutely loathe these so-called Christians who discredit the Bible with this, right? Most non-Christians, they already see the Bible as kind of absurd and ridiculous, and we need to do the best we can to making the Bible seem reasonable and making it defendable and having a defensible Christian worldview. That's what my channel is all about. And flat earthers, they shove a knife into the back of our best apologists. They shove a knife into the back of our best apologists by telling the world the Bible is a flat earth book, right? No, it's not. What does the Bible teach though? Well, in the oldest book of the Bible, which was thousands of years ahead of its time when it comes to science and the shape of the earth, it records that He, God, hangs the earth on nothing. So I will oppose flat earth just as much as any other terrible doctrine because it's evil and it gets between unbelievers and Jesus Christ. Longtime viewers know I'm not a fan of Augustine, but I'm going to throw this quote up on screen. Pause it if you want to read the full thing about the dangers of acting like the Bible teaches your understanding of cosmology. And flat earthers are doing exactly what Augustine warned about, and we need to put an immediate end to that. By the way, fake churches, they don't have what we have here at Enyart Theology, which is thousands and thousands of hours of Bible study materials. So if you want to verify that our church is real, you can do that by looking at our thousands of hours of Bible study content. That's something that only real churches have, and you can get that and support the channel at enyart.shop. By the way, this video is very unlike my normal content. I don't intend to make any more videos on the topic, but I felt it necessary to defend the character of my pastor, to defend the existence of my church, and to call out the lies of scammers like Flat Earth Dave.
Yo, listen up, it's your boy Birch in the his house. Boy, plan so slick, gonna make your pockets house. I got an app that's gonna change your life, but before you download, let me slice through the strife. They say the earth's a globe, but I beg to differ. I'll make you believe, I'll make you shiver. Spectroscopy needs a container, that's my claim. I've got no clue, I just hang my head in shame. Yo, listen up, it's your boy Dirt H in the his house. That's the his house. Got a plan so slick, gonna make your pockets house. I got an app that's gonna change your life, but before you download, let me slice through the strife. They say the earth's a globe, but I beg to differ. I'll make you believe, I'll make you shiver. Spectroscopy needs a container, that's my claim. I've got no clue, I just hang my head in shame. But turn up, that's the line I'm preaching. Sell my app, it's what I'm seeking. Fake challenge, try your luck. While I'm laughing, pocketing a buck. I'm a scammer.
I'm a scammer.
I'm a scammer.
I'm a scammer.
Flat Earth, that's the lie I'm preaching. Sell my app, it's what I'm seeking. Fake challenge, try your luck. While I'm laughing, pocketing a buck. I'm a scammer.
I'm a scammer.
I'm a scammer.
I'm a scammer.
Yo, Dave Weiss is a scammer. Talk about Antarctica, the icy place. Offered a free trip, dangled it in my face, but I won't go. It's not about thrift. I'm staying home, gotta protect my grift. I'm a scammer. I'm a scammer. Yo, Dave Weiss is a scammer. Talk about Antarctica, that icy place. Offered a free trip, dangled it in my face, but I won't go, it's not about thrift. I'm staying home, gotta protect my grift. I'm a scammer. Antarctica, that icy place. Offered a free trip, dangled it in my face, but I won't go, it's not about thrift. I'm staying home, gotta protect my grift. I'm a scammer. The scammer, I play the game. Gonna hustle hard, gonna rise to fame. But remember one thing, it's all a ploy to make that green, I'll be your decoy. So if you wanna join, come take my hand. But beware the tricks, it's all planned. TITRH, that's my name. In the world of scams, I got the fame.
I'm a scammer.